find faults with their tape. Really solid. But again, some of those more premium positions, interior D-line, edge rushers, they're hard to find. And with those guys, the problem with those guys is they're hard to find, and then they don't really become available in free agency. Some of those other positions, they're good players. You'll probably eventually get a chance to get some of those positions in free agency. So that's kind of the things you just have to weigh, kind of go through and weigh out all the options. But at the end of the day, I think you just want a guy that's going to come in here and be a great contributor on the field, off the field, and stick to that old mantra: take the best player available, right?
How do you characterize
I think every year, it's a challenge, and we do have some flexibility with how we're set up to do some different things, but it's not like we have $90 million in cap space, and we have to execute an efficient game plan in free agency, and then we got to nail these picks, and that'll be important for us to keep this run going. Obviously, we had a step back last year, and everyone was disappointed, but everyone's motivated, and even the coaching staff too. Like I said, the last few years we haven't had a chance to really get with them much before the combine, and right after that Vegas game, those guys were all in, and it was exciting and energetic in a way, just to get out there. And I think the last few years, we were kind of just like in a maintenance stage, and now we're trying to just rebuild this thing again. And I think for a GM and a personnel staff, that's exciting.
Thanks, Vish. Appreciate it.
Travis Kelce's future. Chiefs ready for any scenario. Kansas City Chiefs GM Brett Veach confirmed the team is prepared for whatever Travis Kelce decides regarding his future. Talks have been ongoing about a potential return, and the Chiefs are clear. They want Kelce back for the 2026 season. Kelce, now 36, is officially a free agent and would need a new deal if he chooses to return for his 14th NFL season. Despite widespread speculation that last year might have been his final one, rumors are growing that he plans to keep playing. Off the field, Kelce has plenty waiting for him: an emerging media career and a highly anticipated wedding to global superstar Taylor Swift. A former third-round pick out of Cincinnati in 2013, Kelce quickly made his mark. After starting on a 4-year rookie deal, he signed a 6-year, $46.8 million extension, followed by a 4-year, $57.25 million contract in 2020. His base salaries over the final 2 seasons of that deal were $12 million and $16.25 million, respectively. On the field, Kelce was unstoppable in 2025, appearing in all 17 games and recording 76 receptions on 108 targets for 851 yards and 5 touchdowns. Given his consistent performance, he remains one of the top free agents to watch in the 2026 NFL offseason.